Merle wrote so many, not only great songs, but he wrote so many beautiful melodies.
Oh, God.
I mean, everything. I mean, we're all sitting in there singing, I've had a beautiful, everybody say. His memories and his melodies were so memorable, is what I was going to say. The band, and we've all been applauding them and commenting and commending them on a great job. They've got an instrumental version of a great Merle Haggard classic. I don't know how you picked this particular one, but you couldn't have chosen a prettier one. All right, here's Dirk and Mike and Hank and David and Jimmy and Les and John. Silver Wings. So good. So good. Family Reunion Band, I guess, is the name of the group. They're terrific. I can't hear that song without hearing Bonnie's voice.
I know.
Her voice was it just cut through so beautifully on that record.
Bonnie had a unique voice. It was more of a duet team almost. You know, you can't really imagine Dad's older records, especially without Bonnie. You know, and again, a lot of people don't realize that Glen Campbell was the man singing the male part on all that stuff.
On all of it?
All of it. Glen sang all the way up till 72. He sang on Carolyn, and Glen was already a superstar. Can I tell you a quick story about Glen? I met him first time when they were cutting Mama Tried, and he'd come and sing his harmony parts on that. But Glen had just got him a record deal with Capitol, and I would imagine that his work with my dad is what, you know, Ken Nelson and all that stuff. Anyway, they signed Glen to a record deal. And I was there when he brought By the Time I Get to Phoenix to my dad. My dad was kind of like a big brother to him, I think. And Glen played my dad By the Time I Get to Phoenix. And he asked him, what do you think about that, Merle? And he said, well, it's a hit record, Glen. He said, well, Capitol Records ain't doing nothing with it, man. It's just sitting there. And he said, he said, how did you guys do it, back in the old days? Because back in those older days, you could actually self-promote a little bit, when you go around the radio stations, and you could actually drum up a lot of interest on your own. Anyway, Dad said, well, bring 2,000 singles to Bakersfield, and we'll show you what we did. And anyway, Glen brought 2,000, by the time I get to Phoenix, singles to Bakersfield. And out of the garage, Fuzzy Owens, Bonnie Owens, and my dad and Glen packaged up 2,000 singles for the radio stations in America. And my dad wrote a little handwritten note in each one of them, asking the radio station, please give this a listen. He was an established artist, and do me a favor and please give this a shot. Well, and at the end of that year, it was by the time I get to Phoenix, and today I started living again, fighting all year long for that #1 spot. But that's how Glen got to start right there.
Wow.
That's a neat little story,
What a
isn't it?
nice thing for your dad to do.
Well, Glen Campbell's a wonderful man, and my dad and him have been friends, and he was as part of my dad's sound as Bonnie was, and he did all that great acoustic work too, by the way, like "Sing Me Back Home," that great intro on that, and the intro of what sounds like an acoustic guitar on "Mama Tried." That's actually Glen playing a dobro with acoustic strings on it, capoed down to the 5th fret, but Glen was a big part of my dad's sound, and my dad was a great big part of his career.